This is a video where we're going to be talking about titles. So we've separated out all the metadata input for your video into separate videos just because that titles is just so important for your video optimization that we're going to spend quite a bit of time on that right now. You're thinking titles, that's what's going to show up here. This is what YouTube is going to use to rank and determine what your content, what's within the content of your video, as well as the other factors. So this is one of the main factors that they're looking at, and they're checking out to make sure that, this is going to be a top 10 YouTube channel video. So what we're also going to look at here, you'll notice that the title here also shows up as bolded, highlighted text here when you do search for a term. So this is another reason why titles are important, because they are the bolded, bigger text that shows up within search. So you do want to optimize for your keywords, but you also want to keep in mind that there's going to be real viewers, real people looking at these titles, and the title has to make sense. It has to be enticing. It has to be what the video is about. The more you could summarize what your content in your video is about, the more you can fine-tune what your particular video is about, is going to help you within ranking a whole lot of different ways, and entering that in as a title as the #1 spot here is also going to help you within rankings in YouTube's eyes. So with titles, you want to focus on the order of the wording as well, because you want to put your most important, strongest keywords first, and then going down from there. So there's a whole bunch there to think about, but once you start writing out titles, you're going to find ones that work for you, and if they aren't working as well as that you want them to, you can always go into your video and you can change the title, adjust the title as needed. So it's not set in stone, but it is a good way to start out with your video to try to optimize and get your titles right. The title should contain relevant keywords to what your video is about. What the content of your video is about, the more you can tune that into what your video is going to be about and summarize it within a title, the better it is. And when you're thinking titles, you want optimally someone to be able to look at your title, look at your thumbnail, and say, okay, that's the video that's what that video is about, and that's the video that I want to watch. So when you look at these thumbnails, they're working alongside the titles, and that is the best approach. Work thumbnails and titles together, and then supplement that with a description, and that's how that you write your metadata for your video. So if you were to, another way to think about it is, if you were to type in a term, if you were to search for that video, what would you type into the search engine? What would you say, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I want to come up? So YouTube is very logical in its approach to returning results, and that's what they work towards, to have that seamless interaction between what you're thinking, what you want, and what you're expecting the results to be. And you have to think about that as well when you're creating a title, to create a title that's optimal for what your video is really about and what content is contained in your video. So you don't want to be putting in a title that's completely off of what your video is actually about, because that's against the terms and conditions of YouTube, as well as that's not going to be a smart approach, because people are going to click your video, and if it's actually not about top 10 YouTube channels and that's what you've put the title as, and they click off of your video fairly quickly within the first few seconds, Google's going to know that this is not a video, this is not, something's wrong here, this title doesn't make sense with what the video content is. For whatever reason, people are clicking off, and that's going to harm your search results. So maybe initially, if you do get some keywords that are popular, you might see your video take off, but in the long run, that's not going to work, and over time, you're going to pay for putting in inappropriate titles. So the best practice is to think about what you would want to, what words you'd put in to search out your video and be able to pull them out that way. If you do have episode numbers or branding, best practice is to place it at the end of the video. So if you are doing something like this, and let's say your brand was my channel and episode 1, you would want to do it in this order. So not necessarily that people would be searching my channel, and it would be expected that if you are doing some branding, you have a fairly unique brand, that your channel would be coming up regardless within the search at the top if you're placing it within the tags and within description, and it's on a regular basis on your channel, that the branding that you're using. The same with the episode. This is fairly low quality type wording, and you don't want to be highlighting it. If it is important to what you're doing, try to place it more towards the end, because Google will look at what's the first term first, and then the order of importance will diminish as more words are added into the title. Best practice is another reason to keep your lower quality keywords near the end is that when it shows up in search, if you have a really long title, you don't want it to get cut off, because you got to remember as well, people are searching on mobile devices and a whole bunch of different devices, and they might not readily be able to see all of the terms and content. And as you can see here, so this channel is doing within that same methodology, where it's got the episode at the end, and then it's got some branding there. If you have a high character count, keep in mind that you do want to keep it to a minimal, because the end part might get dropped off on smaller screen devices. So keeping it accurate also will benefit your channel over the long run, because as people are searching for it, if they are getting the results that they're expecting and their search terms are coming up, and they do watch your video and they say, okay, yeah, this was very relevant to what I had searched, and they watch your video throughout, this is going to help with ranking over the long term. It's going to help with viewership and watch time. So watch time is another important factor with videos, that the better watch time there is, the better a video will rank over time. So also when you're creating titles and you've got titles that might not be relevant anymore, it is a good idea to update the titles to be more relevant and to attract more viewers over time. So that's a good practice to get into when you are creating titles, to make sure that they are relevant. And even if you've got some maybe different options for titles, and you can change it around to get that more of a boost for your videos. If they're not performing well, then maybe it is time to change the title and change things up a little bit to get more viewers and to recycle those videos that might not be performing optimally. That's how you would do optimization of a title, where you would come in and you would see videos that aren't performing well, and you would check out their titles, check out their description, their tags, and rework some of the details, the basic info here, in order to perform better in search, and revisit it every now and then, checking your analytics and making sure that you are hitting the right titles. So when it comes to titles, keep the most important words first. And keeping it under 70 characters is best practice. Keeping it descriptive and incorporating your keywords as well is the most beneficial type of title.